Thank you for joining us today for the virtual Sunday service with the Center for Creative Living. CCL, a charter of the Universal Church of the Master, has served and supported the spiritual needs of its community here in the Bay Area for over 20 years.
Good morning. Welcome. I want you all to just take a nice deep breath. I don't know about you, but it's been a pretty hectic week, and I don't know why. I think because we are in a time that we get in at some point in our lives where it looks like all religions are celebrating. For those of you, our friends that are Muslim, they're celebrating Ramadan, and they're fasting. For those of you who are Catholic and gave up something for Lent, you're fasting. We just have so many interesting things going on. And then when we look at St. Patrick's Day, this is a joyful time for me because I like the fact that I'm quite a bit Irish, and I like to talk about it. And I've done a lot of work and a lot of look, and I don't know whether I'm going to be infringing on Mary's talk or not, but quite often people think of St. Patrick's at getting rid of the snakes in Ireland. But what he was doing, he was getting rid of the Celts. Those were the snakes. It was another religion. It was based on the goddess. And so we have this, all these things going on here that are really, really interesting. But you have celebration, you have people who are fasting, you have people who are angry at other people for who knows why. We have a big political brouhaha going on, and all of these things are happening concurrently, and people don't know how to react. And so what I want to start out with is a wonderful St. Patrick's Day prayer. So if you could all just take a deep breath and put your feet flat on the floor. May your troubles be less, and your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come through your door. May the road rise up to meet you, and may the rains fall soft upon your fields. And until we meet again, may God hold you in the palm of his hand. And I know many of you know the version where you sing this, but today I just want you to think about what the words mean. May God hold you in his hand. And how does that feel? Just visualize this comforting energy of God surrounding you and holding you, so that through these times of confusion, anger, frustration, war, sickness, negativity, take a moment every day and just say, may God hold me in his hand, in her hand, in their hand. For me, God is a spirit and not individualized as to what gender. But however you view your source, creator, spirit, right now, feel the love. Feel the energy surrounding you and holding you. And now just all take a deep breath, breathe in again, and release all the negativity. Just release it. One more time. Breathe in God's love and release it. And when you do that, drop your shoulders. So one more time. Breathe in God's love and release it. Drop your shoulders. Let's start today with as little tension as possible. Because so many of us have found that as we're going through life, we want to point fingers at people being wrong. And just realize they are right for them. And when you do that, it takes a lot of getting together with yourself, honoring yourself, and say, one of the basic tenets of all religions is judge not. And that judgment of you judging somebody gets you caught up in negativity. Just before you know it, you're caught up. So please take that time today, that if you're judging the person that's walking too slowly across the street, if you're judging the next door neighbors who plays their music a little bit loudly, if you're judging anything, anybody, stop and just say, I put you in God's hand. So when you do that, you'll find it releases your tension, and dropping your shoulders helps you breathe better. So just drop your shoulders when you do that. Well, for those of you, if this is your first time here, welcome. This is a Center for Creative Living, and we're a spiritualist church. We believe that God has made us all perfect. Whatever religion, whatever gender, whatever your view on life, you are absolutely perfect. So when I was talking about don't judge people, the main person I want you not to judge is yourself. That's what seems to be the most difficult thing. People look at me and say, oh, don't I look awful? No, you look beautiful. You're a child of God. And you hear people saying, well, if I could only walk better, sing better, talk better, have more money. No, you're perfect. So if the God energy within you, ask it to come forward when you doubt yourself. Okay? Anybody have a birthday coming up this week? Any birthdays? Amanda, I thought so. Yeah. And you know what? Joan, could you get the beads out for me, please?
Actually, I don't want any.
You don't want any beads. Well, then stand up and let us sing at you. Come on. Okay. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Hey, happy birthday, Amanda. Yay. Hey, happy birthday. Yay. We're so glad you're here. Now, is your birthday coming up this week or?
Thursday.
Yay, that is so wonderful. I'm so glad you were able to make it here. And I want to recognize your father. Thank you for being here. And all of these beautiful people today. We have a lot of new books that we put out. They're in a bag yet. I think we're good. Going to put them out there. And the books are free. If you feel like making a donation, please do. And I've got a lot of videos back there that I have gathered up. So there's things going on. Now today is our snack and chat day. And that means as soon as church is over, we've got a whole table full of food. And we're going to put out some chairs and some tables so you can sit down and get to know people. And so this is one of the ways that we find your energy is by talking to you. Or you can carry little signs, that's okay. And you know, if you carried a little sign that said, hi, my name is Joan and I'm bright and beautiful, we're going to acknowledge that, you can bet. So just think of things that you can do to let other people know who you are. Do you realize the first time you meet somebody, they see you, you make an impression, and they decide who you are that quickly. So think about it. What's the first impression you want to make? So when we are sitting and chatting today, you make sure you smile. Isn't that the best impression you can think of making? Is just smile and say howdy. Okay. The other thing that I want to talk about is that we have a lot of things coming up, and you should all have a program because Corky gets up at dark 30 to make these for everybody. And yay, Corky. And so there are, and it tells you what's coming up. And dealing with change with Reverend Joan is going to be next week. And that's one of those things that we want to do is deal with change, not make it bad. Change isn't always bad. What?
Not make a big deal out of change.
Yes, no, don't make a big deal out of change. Exactly how you handle it, and hopefully gracefully. Okay, that's. I'm going to be speaking at Easter time, and we'll probably even have Easter eggs, I bet you. Yeah, can we have peeps too? Food person? Yes. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. I don't know about any of the others, but if it's a marshmallow, I don't care what color, what shape, or anything else, I like it. It's one of those few candies that is American. It was made here in America. Most of our chocolate and everything else, we got the recipe from a foreign country, but Peeps are American, so just think about that. I have a card that I'm going to be passing around. I haven't filled it out yet, Pete. And it's a crazy card for Keith. Smitty is now in a facility. He's still about 92 pounds. He is no longer at the VA hospital in Palo Alto. And so I thought it would be fun. As many of you know, Reverend Smith is a very, very good humorist, and he likes to make fun of things. So this is the funniest card because it's just that. It doesn't say get well. It doesn't say we miss you. Miss you. You'll see it when it comes by. So for those of you who want to sign it, please do. And Corky, if you could fill this out and just put here. I've got somebody that jumped up sooner than you did. For all of you that wore green today, thank you so very much for honoring St. Patrick's Day. I really do appreciate it. And are we going to have a meditation?
Can I do announcements?
Yes, you may do announcements.
As Dottie mentioned, we're going to have some food and a chance to socialize. But one of the things that's happened is that there is an event scheduled at 1 o'clock. So we have to close down at 5 minutes of 1. So when we come around and say we have to clean up, just help us clean up and get out of here on time to honor their generosity of sharing the space with us. On Tuesday, I was the speaker at the UCM series, and I did a talk on what I called beginning astrology. We had a lot of fun. It was recorded. It will be available on the UCM website. And there's several things I talked about. One was moon phases. Right now we're going into a very special high energy full moon on the 25th, which could be why so many people are feeling unsettled. As we move from the new moon, the dark moon, into the full moon, there's this energy that regardless of what your astrology chart says, where your moon is or anything else, everyone feels it. And some people in the class said, yes, there's more babies born in the full moon. There's more accidents in the full moon. There's more shootings and domestic violence. So there's a lot of unrest in that. So if you're feeling that energy of unrest, you can blame it on the full moon. I like to blame it on somebody, so I'm going to blame it on the full moon. And just know that it's going to pass, and the important thing is that we stay centered and peaceful. Toward the end of that talk, I talked about how the different signs get together and are compatible. Aries is fire, Taurus is earth. So where do fire and earth meet? In explosions and volcanoes. Yeah, so there's some information about that in the talk. That was a lot of fun. So just remember, 1 o'clock, we need to...
Yeah, we don't have to really be completely out of here until they're going to start, but they'll be setting up. They're not starting theirs until 1:30. They just are going to start coming in to set up.
Oh,
okay? Yeah.
Well, then I misunderstood.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, there is.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Okay, we're not going to pull your chair out from under you. Yeah. Okay. Jan, you have announcements.
We have announcements?
Okay.
Very good. So we have, thank you. And thank you, Joan, for doing that wonderful presentation on our speaker series. It's incredible. I encourage you to check it out because there was some wonderful dialogue that happened. And Joan expressed in a really clear way about some of the basic principles of astrology. So it was really good if you've never really are familiar with it. So we have two things coming up. Our annual conference. Yay! And this is going to be amazing. It's going to be on May 18th from 9 to 4 p.m. And it will be at the South Bay Mobile Home Park Community Room, which is great. We're excited. And our morning speaker will be Reverend Scout Bartlett, who is an incredible psychic, incredible speaker. And then our keynote speaker is Reverend Gary Springfield. And if you've never heard Gary Springfield, he is such a treat. He's a longtime UCM person who has just done incredible things with energy and energy healing and meditation and really exploring that deeper dimension of our beings. So I encourage you to come. I'm going to hand out flyers, so all of you have a flyer.
What day?
It is on May 18th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Saturday.
And it's a Saturday. Thank you. Also, we have our own wonderful Reverend Dr. Mary Garry, who is going to do a class on dimensions of pastoral counseling. And I will be assisting her. I'm very proud to do it. And it is a workshop for anybody that's interested in bringing that pastoral counseling awareness. This is not meant to say that, by the end of this time, you will be, fully vested in being able to do pastoral counseling for everything, but it gives us a primer and it gives us some things to look at when we're doing pastoral counseling. So I'm going to just pass this around too.
Or if you want them, you could probably leave them so people could pick them up.
Put them over here.
Yep.
And you can help yourself. But I please encourage you to come. I encourage you to come and partake of your community because we're about gathering community together, right? Gathering community. Yes. And it's all about, the conference is all about spiritual renewing. How do we renew spirit, both inside and outside? And so Reverend Dr. Mary Garry is our conference chair. So I want to thank her for all the work she did. Reverend Corey Gott made the flyers for us. So it's a community effort, my friends. And I want you to gather you all together in that community. So please join us.
Janet?
Yes.
Is the pastoral counseling part of the conference?
No, it's a separate day. It is actually on a Tuesday in April. And it will be at the UCM office. And it's April 2nd. So the day after April Fool's Day, which is a very powerful energy day, right? Come on April 7th. And the reason that we're having it on April 2nd is because Mary works best, and I do too, when we have a group of people there. So we're going to be taping it. It's going to be available via Zoom as well. So if you cannot come there in person, please consider coming via Zoom. It's going to be that interactive of a class. But what's wonderful about it is that when we gather together, we actually give each other ideas and give each other feedback, and questions can be answered. So please join us. April 2nd, 6 to 8:30 p.m.
Now you get to put your other hat on. Okay, I want you all to put your feet flat on the floor. Take a nice deep breath, and we're going to do a meditation, so just follow the sound of my voice. And this meditation is going to take place in Ireland. So visualize yourself landing in wonderful, wonderful Ireland, and immediately you're struck by how green it is around Dublin and around Galway, or the Ring of Kerry, or wherever you go in Ireland. You've heard about the Emerald Isle, but to really see the green and the energy. So just breathe. And as we see ourselves moving through the island, we're impressed by the many chapels, the many churches, the many sites of the goddess Brigitte. And it feels like faith is all around you. And as we're driving along, you see a sign that says Brigitte's Well. And you stop and you go in. And it's a glen. There's a pool of water. And as you watch the water moving into this pool, you can hear the birds chirping in the trees. And the sun is shining on you. And when you take in a deep breath, you realize the air, even the air is different here. It feels more rarefied and exciting. And as you listen to the splashing of the water, you realize that the Creator is in this place, in the trees, in the water, in the air. And all of a sudden, you feel comforted, as if a great arm has wrapped itself around your shoulders. And you're getting a spiritual hug, a hug from Creator, a non-judgmental, not place for you. Whatever you were worried about, put it into the pond. Whatever you visualize is negative, put it in the pond. This is a spiritual place, and all problems are cleansed. Just take another nice deep breath and listen to the wonderful Reverend Janet Childs.
Let the waters of spirit wash over you, and you will know the answer of your dreams. All that you bring to this life is joyful, meaningful, and you know the way home. And every moment, every day, we are here in the deepest way, and we bring home our love. Spirit dances, and joyful we are here, and all that we know is in our hearts, and it's flowing, it's flowing. Let the river of spirit fall on your heart. Let the river of spirit bring you home to this moment. Let the river flow. 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 It is love. Let the river flow. It is peace. Let the river flow. let the river flow. We are one, we are one, let the river flow. We are one, we are one, let the river flow. We are one, we are one, let the river flow. We are one, we are one, let the river flow. Let the river flow.
Just take another nice deep breath and feel that energy, that God source energy of the river as it flows. And know that it is a river of love, connecting all who are willing to accept it. And when you're ready, open your eyes and come back to the room. And thank you so very much, Jan. That was wonderful. Yes. Okay. Good morning, Chris. Okay, we are going to introduce our speaker, and our speaker today is Reverend Mary Garry, and Reverend Mary is Irish through and through. With yes, and so she's going to talk a little bit like what's it like being Irish and all of the good things there, and then she's going to introduce Juliett. And Juliett is a medium, and she channels an entity named Patrick. So we have a lot of things coming up, okay? And then you have probably about 10 to 15 minutes, so then we can leave more time for Juliett.
Okay, no, I wasn't. 10 minutes will be.
Okay. She's going to come up here. She's not scared of me. She's going to come sit right next to me.
Yay! We could get in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, we could.
Well, I struggled. Oh my, I struggled. Do I talk about Patrick, St. Patrick, Do I talk about how you get to be a St. Patrick in an Ireland place when you're an English interloper? And do I talk about all that happened in Ireland because of their relationship with the English? Which would be probably an hour and a half, but I didn't think that would be what would be interest to or helpful to our hearts. So, my name is Mary, and then my grandparents' name was O'Neil, and my father's name was Cane, and my beloved husband's name is Gary, and all three of them come from different places in Ireland. And so I want to kind of talk a little bit about that, but I also want to spend just a moment or so talking about, when Patrick went to Ireland first, he was captured and he was there as a slave. But, being a slave in Ireland is not quite as bad as being a slave in places like the United States were, because they just sent him out into the mountains to watch the sheep. It was, probably limited conversation, but otherwise he was okay up there. Nobody tortured him, nobody bossed him around, nobody anything. And then he got word that somebody knew he was there, and they said, this ship is going back to Ireland. You just have to be at the ship at a certain time. And so he just walked down, left the sheep, told him to behave, I'm sure. But he walked down to the ship, took him back to his family in England, which, at the time Rome was running things. And so it was, even though it was a British family, Rome was still in charge of that part of England. And so, and in fact, most of the world. That's a whole nother time of talking about how the Romans, what happened, that the world suddenly made this giant shift related to what the Romans brought to it. So he was home with his family for a couple of years, and then he went into the monastery, and he was, what we call now in Catholicism, ordained as a priest. And then they sent him back to Ireland because they wanted to convert the Irish. The Irish had, for lots and lots of years, had a long-term relationship with the fairies and the spirits and all of that. They were, and in fact, they probably had more of a relationship. I don't know if, has anybody ever been to Ireland? Been to the ground? We've been 4 times. Not that we like it or anything, but and what you find there, if you get out into the country, is you see these big stones. Well, Ireland had a lot of stones, and they used them to. They would chip, make faces on the stones or marks on the stones, and they treated them like not like Stonehenge, which is in England, where it was the sun in relationship to the stones. The stones just spoke for themselves in Ireland. And if you wanted to commune with what was spiritual to you, you would often just go to one of the stones and sit with the stones. And so because it's a stony country, I mean, it really is more, a lot of stones. You don't have fields of grain because you don't have that. It's a different kind of land. So they were pretty comfortable with what they were. They weren't longing for a brand new religion. And they certainly couldn't understand the Christian religion that said God was a Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And they said, is God the Father, or is it God the Son, or is it the Holy Spirit? But, what is this? All 3 of them is God. And so St. Francis was a clever little fellow, and so he picked the shamrocks. The shamrocks grow like weeds throughout Ireland, and it's a grass. And he picked them, and I was so glad because I was going to bring one, I forgot. You see the stem? He said the stem is the ultimate combination of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and therefore that's how you can trust that we're telling you how to get to God. It's pretty slick. I mean, they bought it, and it worked, and I think there was a lot of value to it, But I think, if I may go aside here a little bit, that as Dottie has said, and even more than once today, what we do in this church is say, what we want a church to do is to help you to grow into the person that you're supposed to be. Whatever that person is, whoever that person prays to, whoever that person loves, our job is to be creating a supportive environment that also can give you information that helps you to learn and to grow. But the point is not to chisel you into what we want you to be. It's to hold the light and energy around you so that you can be what you want to be. People don't come into church to find out if they could be something really crummy. So what they do is they come to church because they have some understanding. I believe that we were somewhere before we were here, and we'll be somewhere after we're here. And we're here as an opportunity to develop ourselves into a better, more insightful being. And that's our job. If we can make ourselves better, then every incremental improvement we make allows us to interact with others at a different, higher level. And that's what I think the God force, whatever it is, whether it's on a shamrock or on a cloud or, flown by angels, I don't care. I just believe that there's something, we had a friend, Nancy, who used to say there's something bigger than Phil. And and there is. We just don't know what it is, but I trust it. And I think that that's the most important thing that we can give you, is to trust that there's something bigger than Phil, to trust that our job is to grow into that, and that the way that Francis did it with the people in Ireland was to tell them that the shamrocks...
St. Patrick.
Oh, Patrick, not
St.
Francis?
Francis, which is bringing in wonderful energy, but
but it's not the one we're talking about. Thank you very much. Yes,
That's why they call it St. Patrick's Day.
right. Oh my God, I am surrounded by such loving helpers. And it's a jolly good thing, isn't it, Ron? Thank you. 5 minutes and you're on. The other thing I would just say about Ireland is that it is such a tumultuous country. It's, you know, we're terribly biased. I mean, both of us are biased. When we got off the plane, and we chose to fly in because it was cheaper, not some big metaphysical reason, but we chose to fly to London and then fly from London to Ireland. And when you got off the plane in Ireland, there was a sign that said, if you just got here from England, go this way. And if, you know, otherwise you go this way. So I said, well, we just got here from Ireland, so we went that way. And then when we tried to get out of Ireland, they said, well, how did you get in? I said, well, what do you mean, how did I get in? And they said, well, you're not stamped in. I said, well, I didn't have to stamp in. See that sign? It says, if you just came from, and they said, no, that's if you lived in London, you have a passport from London. That's not for Americans trying to hustle their way into Ireland without getting there. But we loved Ireland. I mean, they said to us, welcome home. And I said, oh, actually, we're Americans. They said, but you wouldn't be Americans if you hadn't been starving to get out of it. They had to go. We saw the way, you know, over 1 million people left the Irish shores because they lived on potatoes. It's not like russet potatoes. They were a high vitamin content potato, but they developed a rot. And so all of the Irish, that's what they ate, period. That's what they had. They could grow it, they could eat it. What happened was there had been so many hundreds of years of Ireland being run by the English. There were wars, but England had a lot more resources and they won them. And then all of the land was taken away from the Irish and distributed to people who had helped the English win the war. And so the Irish were peasants on their own land, and only thing they could eat was the potatoes they grew. Any other food, even during the famine, was shipped to England. So, you know, my grandparents, they had the first round of people in my family to come out of Ireland went to the coal mines. That's the only place the men could get a job, is the coal mines in Pennsylvania. And then the Irish women began to do better than they were able to do in Ireland. The way the land worked in Ireland when the Irish owned the land was it went to the oldest son. So the women never got land, you know, even if they had lived there and weren't married. And in those days, you didn't have pills and things like that. So there were lots of children in every family. And we went to the ships. Tom and I went to the ships that they had, transportation ships to take you out of Ireland. What the English said to the people who owned the land, and English said, well, you're now responsible for the people that are starving to death on that land. So you can pay to put them in the hunger homes, they called them in Ireland. You can pay to do that. You can ship them to Australia, or you can ship them to Canada and the United States. And that was the cheapest. So, you know, they didn't send people to America or the United States because they thought, oh, they'll do well there. That was the cheapest. So that's how they got to go. And each ship had a number of, they looked like doors to us at the time, like doors on hinges. But half again the width of the table, and that's where you were assigned. Your whole family, you and your kids and your mother and father, sat on that, slept on, ate on that board all the way to the country you were headed to. And most people went to the United States. our family went into Canada and walked down, and a lot of people did that. The Irish were supported by people in the United States. When the famine first broke out, they sent a lot of money to them, but they didn't like the Irish quite as well when they came. They didn't mind sending them food over there, but they weren't interested in having them populate the country here. And part of it was they were Catholic. The Irish were Catholic, and that's how they differentiated the Irish who could hold land and be taught to read and write. If they were Catholic, they weren't allowed to teach them to read and write anymore. Ireland was very literate before the English took it over, but in order to subject the Irish and take their lands away, one of the first things they did was make it against the law to teach them to read and write. And that's why a lot of Irish will fight hard to go to school, because as some people know, when you're deprived of being able to read and write and do math, it's limiting by its very situation. So
we're cutting into Juliett's time.
Oh, yes, we are. That was I should have stopped 2 minutes ago.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to be sorry. I'm sorry I babbled on. I love you all. Top of the morning to you.
It was very interesting. I just wish we had more time.
Well, that's all it was supposed to be.
Okay, well, Mary, you and I
But once I get talking.
This is what the Irish do. We have a tongue that just blah, 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 blah.
That's true. I know.
Okay. Thank you, Mary. Thank you.
And thank you for...
Okay. And Juliett, would you come up here? And I don't know how you want to work this, but do you want people to raise their hands, or do you want to go to them?
I was just going to do, Patrick usually just does a meditation.
Okay.
And that way he touches everybody
Okay.
with the message.
Wonderful.
Will you introduce yourself? Oh, yes. My name is Juliett, Reverend Juliett Bristow. Yay. Yeah. And Patrick and I, we've been together for a long, long time. And so when he comes through, he'll have his Irish accent. And what I'm being guided is that we're going to do, again, a meditation. And a meditation, a guided meditation, what it comes is from the heart, like the universal heart. And each one is touched with this. And as each one is touched with it, this is what they bring forth, because they already have it. It's just bringing forth what they not realizing at the moment that they truly are. And it's kind of like what was said earlier, Dottie was saying about who we truly are. And so Patrick's going to bring through that. And as you are touched by that, just tune in. And just really tune in to that who you truly are. And it's almost like when you're touched with it, you say, oh yeah, oh yeah. So let's all say, oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay. So we will close our eyes, and it's your choice, of course, if you choose to close your eyes or not. Take a nice deep breath. And as you be taking your deep breath, recognizing that that breath is completely light, for that is what you are, and who you are is completely light. Or let's say from the tips of your toes to the very top of your head, and even beyond that, you are this glorious, glorious light. And let us all into that, recognizing it, so that each step that you be taken in whatever way and wherever place it may be, that you be shining that light of yourselves, shining it brightly. And it's all that you be seeing as you be shining your light. Be seeing it through the eyes of that who you truly are. All about you as you look about. Light, light. As you walk in that light. So let us right now take this little trip, let's see. And wherever that you go, each step that you take, you'll be shining your light. No matter what it be going on about you, that others may be seeing, you see, feel, and know the light that you're shining. Each step that you'll be taking, and wherever again that you'll be taking it, sense that knowing. Sense that light. Bringing it up. Let's see from Divine Mother Earth. She also has the beautiful light. And be shining it also. Alter her own self. So the whole earth is full with this light. Notice each step you take. What do you feel? What are you feeling with this? And you sense it through your whole self that you'll be light. Can you sense it by yourself, with yourself, and all around yourself? The sparkling, the glory of light. And let it be so in this moment, in this now of yourself. You are light. Now, however it is that you may see yourself, know that light will be always around you, because that is who you are and what you are. So shine your light. Shine your light. Shine your light. And we'll be leaving this with you. Not only without our blessings, because you are of a blessing, and you are blessings. And with that, we take our leave. And with that, we shine our light. And so it is. And so it is. Take a nice deep breath. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. And then we'll be taking our leave again, yes, for sure. And it's a good day to each one of you. And so it is.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, love, breathe out, love, breathe Breathe in love, breathe out love, breathe in love, breathe out love, breathe in love, breathe out love.
Thank you so much, Reverend Juliett, and thank you to Patrick.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
wonderful.
Patrick, he's young.
Yes, they're coming.
I don't really know what he's going to say until he says it. And sometimes I get in there and I try to switch things around. Don't work. It don't work. No. So Juliett steps aside and Patrick comes through.
When did you meet Patrick?
Pardon?
When did you meet Patrick?
Yeah. This was this is back when early '80s, I believe. Anyways, it sounds like he's still there a little bit. I had a group at my home, a meditation group at my home, and there was a little bit of a time there that I was having a little bit difficulty channeling, so I wasn't taking any new channels that time, and so I could feel this energy around that kind of wanted to come through. I said, no, you have to show me a sign that you're from within the light and everything's okay. So I'm closing my eyes and sitting there, and all of a sudden I see this leprechaun, and they're doing the Irish jig, and this leprechaun is dancing with the angels, and it's kind of like just showing me that it was proof that it was okay, you know. And so I said, all right, okay. But of course, you know, Patrick, some people see him as a leprechaun, but some people see him as St. Patrick, you know. And so that's what started it, and ever since then we've been buddies, if you're going to call it that. But I'm so very honored, and he talks a lot about, as was mentioned even today, about the shining our light, because that's what we are, and not to see any darkness, because in truth the darkness is not there, so to speak. It's only light.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much.
Yes.
Thank you. And Mary, you want to grab the basket, please? And we're going to be doing donations. And Corky, I realize there aren't any tables up. But could we have some help in bringing the large table and move it forward?
That's set up for people that are coming after us.
Yes.
Okay, so you want people to get in a circle to eat?
Well, I'll try to manage.
You know what, if I may,
Yes,
I am so glad to be here.
yes.
Time with my daughter.
Yay.
I would like to donate, say a prayer with this community,
Okay,
if it's okay.
of course. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
You gotta excuse me, I had back surgery late September, man. Just getting over it, getting through it, so I'm slowly but surely recovering. I'd like to go ahead and give my thanks to this community and everyone that's here in the sound of my voice. Just want to express my love for everyone here, and especially for loving my daughter as well. I appreciate that very much. So I'd like to thank my Father, my Most High, my Lord God Jehovah, Christ Jesus, asking that He keeps His hands upon everyone in the sound of my voice in this room. Keep them under your protection and guidance. And as you always have been, the provider, continue on providing them with all of their needs, through all of their troubles, and keeping them safe. Thank you, for my Father, for such blessings, such a community, and for your love. Your love, the most important thing in this world, that means more than anything to anybody. And let us not worry about what was just done yesterday. I can't do nothing about tomorrow because tomorrow's not here. Let us live the best that we can this moment, this day. It's all we have. may we live and love the way you intended us to do and commanded us to do. Thank you, my Father. In Christ Jesus, amen.
So it is. Yes, and so it is. Thank you. Thank you.
And so it is. Let's say it together. And so it is. Yay.
What? Yeah, sure, we're already out of time, so we're not going to worry about it.
It's short.
That's fine.
So, talking about love, love leads me to Goodwill, and Goodwill leads me to fun T-shirts.
Yay, yay, yay.
I'm going somewhere with this. I buy all my shirts and T-shirts at Goodwill at the cost of a cup of coffee, and then if I discover that, well, that's not really what I want, I have a guy who wears my size, and every quarter I go through my closet and I pull out what I'm not wearing or don't want anymore, and all those little cups of coffee, put them in a bag, and I take them and drop them off at his house. He has MS. And I just wanted to put that out there. If that's something that appeals to you, it's easy for me to move things along because I know where they're going. And that moves me to the table back there. There's another table. We did clean out our pantry, and we did pull some things out. Robin's kind of on a nutrition kick. And so there's juices and pineapple and things she doesn't want me to eat. And I've brought them here to share, all in the interest of love and goodwill. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, and were you going to read the prayer for the offering?
Well, I can.
Okay.
We're praying a lot today.
We're doing a lot of prayers today. Yes, we are.
I give thanks for my spiritual community. I live in a world of an abundance. I am happy to support my spiritual community. Thank you, Universal Spirit, for your love and support. And so it
And
is.
so it is. Thank you so much, Joy. Okay, well, as I said, we have food. We have coffee in the back. We'd like you to stay and have something to munch with us. And we're going to figure out a little bit more how we can have that happen. You might have to eat on a plate on your lap, but we'll see how it works out. Ed, do you have any suggestions?
No, I think
What's Zoom say?
Most people know how to eat, so no suggestions. Most everyone has a lap, so there's no inequities.
Okay, sounds good.
where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
And when there's an Ed, there's a way also.
Okay, thank you. I want to thank you so very much for being here. We really do appreciate your attending, and if this is the first time, make sure you get programs so we can get your email address so we can notify you of things that are coming up. We really do appreciate having you here. And don't be a stranger. Walk up, stick out your hand, and say, "Hi, my name is." Okay, thank you so very much for being here. Love you much.